Welcome to my channel, Soldier's Legacy. Today, we bring you a story about precision, courage, and a woman who defied every limitation ever set before her. No woman can make that shot. The spotters were already calling for air support when Lieutenant Morrison dismissed her offer to engage. Now, Chief Petty Officer Sable Winters lay prone in the Afghan mountain fog. Her Macmillan TAC-50 trained on, Taliban fighters setting up mortars 2,200 meters away, a distance where even physics challenged human precision. Yet her grandfather's Silver Star citation described a similar shot that had saved an entire platoon in Vietnam. Sable adjusted her scope's parallax, the Hindu Kush Mountains vanishing into the morning haze below her position. 31 years old, attached to SEAL Team 4 as their designated marksman, she'd been lying in this hide site for 14 hours, watching the valley where 12 of her teammates were pinned. In a compound below, Taliban fighters were preparing indirect fire from positions so distant, most snipers wouldn't even consider engaging. The other SEALs knew her as the quiet one, the one who qualified expert with every rifle system, who could calculate wind drift in her head faster than most could with a ballistic computer. But what they didn't know was that she had learned to shoot on a cattle ranch in Wyoming from her grandfather, Master Sergeant Elijah Winters, Marine sniper who once saved 30 Marines with a single impossible shot. He had taught her that shooting wasn't just pulling a trigger. It was mathematics made lethal. Wind speed multiplied by time of flight. Bullet drop calculated in milliradians. Every morning before school, they'd practice reading the wind through mirage, judging distance without rangefinders, controlling her breathing until even her heartbeat didn't move the crosshairs. He'd tell her, "The real skill isn't in pulling the trigger, Sable, it's knowing everything that happens to that bullet during flight." When she joined the Navy years later, she did it to honor him. She passed the sniper course first in her class, the first woman ever to do it in that iteration. Instructors tried to break her, making her shoot after running miles until her hands trembled. She still hit center mass at 1,000 meters. Now, that training was about to be tested in real combat. 12 hours earlier, during the briefing, Lieutenant Morrison had called the mortar team's position impossible to hit 2.2 kilometers out. Sable had spoken up. "Sir, I can make that shot with the TAC-50. I've trained at that distance under similar conditions." Her spotter Reeves had laughed. "Chief, you'd need perfect conditions and more luck than skill." Now air support was 20 minutes away. The Taliban mortar team was almost ready to fire. Morrison's voice crackled over. "Comes Winters, tell me you have something." "Shh," she replied. "Target at 2,147 meters. Marginal probability," he swore. But she could hear the fear in his voice. She pressed her eye back to the scope. The leader was directing his men to load the mortar. Her grandfather's voice whispered in her memory, "When everyone says impossible, that's when you prove what's possible." She began calculating to 18.5 mils of elevation. 8 miles per hour wind from the west. 3 seconds of flight time. The bullet would go transonic mid-flight, risking destabilization. Margin for error? 0. Her radio crackled again. "Winters, if you're confident, you're cleared hot. Make it count," she exhaled, centering her scope. The first mortar round hit 600 meters from the SEAL compound. The second to 300, they'd be on target in 2 more shots. She felt her heartbeat slow. Her finger tightened on the trigger, gentle, smooth, deliberate. The TAC-50 thundered through the valley, fog scattering in a halo around her. 3 seconds later, her target dropped instantly. The second man froze. She worked the bolt, fired again. 3 more seconds. Another impact. She didn't stop until 4 enemies lay still and the mortar tube lay useless. Below, the pinned SEALs watched in disbelief as the enemy fire ceased. Lieutenant Morrison's voice came through the comms, calm but awed. "Outstanding shooting, Winters. For enemy Kaya, mortar's threat neutralized." She kept overwatch until extraction. Her calculations had been perfect. Her grandfather would have been proud. A week later at Bagram, Morrison pinned a bronze star with valor on her chest. The words in her citation echoed those of her grandfather's: extraordinary marksmanship under combat conditions, saving lives through exceptional precision. Reeves, the same spotter who had laughed at her, found her after the ceremony. "Chief, I owe you an apology. I called it luck. But that wasn't luck." "How did you know you could make it?" She smiled softly. "Because when your team's lives are on the line, marginal odds are still worth taking." Months later, she returned home to Wyoming. She built a precision shooting school for military and law enforcement, mounting her bronze star beside her grandfather's silver star. 2 generations, 1 legacy. On the range, she trained the next generation, especially young women who faced the same doubts she had. Each learned that courage isn't about odds. It's about taking the shot when no one else will. Because sometimes, the hardest shots are the ones that must be taken. This is Soldier's Legacy, reminding you heroes aren't born in safety. They're forged in moments of impossible precision. Subscribe for more true stories of courage, valor, and legacy.